Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Suikoden 2 walkthrough. We are in Muse, and I think we need to trigger a scene on the northeastern side here, I think anyway. So let's head that way. At least I think that's what I'm going to do first. What we need to do is actually there's a little scene that happens, and it's God, what am I doing here? Let's get moving here, buddy. Yeah, here we go. And I always actually stop here at the Rune Master. Basically, anytime I possibly can, I stop here at the Rune Master just to check for the rare finds. Again, I've mentioned this, I think in one of the earlier videos, but that Rune Master there has the Fury Rune. Again, it's a rare find, so unfortunately you don't always get it, but it's an amazing rune. It's one of my favorite ones in the game. So here, like I said, on this northeastern side, you'll run into Elsa, and she gives you 2 packages here as long as you agree to help her. And this is actually the very first Clive scene, I guess you could say. I'm not going to actually have many of them, just because in this playthrough I've decided to just completely skip those. I've already actually done that side quest once, and again, I've actually got a full walkthrough of it, or I should say I've got the scenes. I'm not going to go into, you know, I don't think, yeah, because I didn't even do commentary for that. So basically I just I just recorded all the different Clive scenes, and yeah, I guess, again, I'm not going to go through that all again. You have to, get to certain points in the game within, certain time frames. And I just didn't want to bother with that again. So, again, and I just didn't want to feel rushed. And I think, so that scene happens regardless of what the timer is. So, but keep in mind that I think this is the only time you can see it. I don't remember exactly, or I don't know how or when that scene actually occurs, and if it'll occur at later points. So again, make sure you pick it up now or go see it now. And that's actually really important, because if you don't see that scene, you can't get Clive to ever join you. So again, make sure that you don't miss that now, because if you do, you're going to be missing out on one of the characters in the game. I think that Clive is okay. He's actually really not one of my favorites. Oddly, though, I would say he probably has the best looking sprite of or I would say the majority of characters. So again, he does look pretty cool, but I honestly, I'm just not that impressed with his actual damage. So. Anyways, alright, so here is the kind of the second part to this scene, and that occurs when you try to walk out of Muse, and here Elsa kind of uses the hero as a human shield, which is not so cool, and then Clive gives chase. Alright, so that's... Boy, I think that might be the only Clive and Elsa scene we'll see in this entire playthrough. We will see Clive again. Maybe that's obvious, but because I am actually going to recruit him. But alright, so we're heading into the... Oh, what is this place called? I don't know, it's like the government building. I'm sure it's called something else, but we're going to meet up with Annabelle, or meet Annabelle. You're brown nosing, leave now. Oh. So Annabelle's kind of a hard ass, which is not so bad. Alright, so obviously having a little discussion about kind of current events. Obviously Victor losing the fort there. I like his description of Luca there. It's pretty accurate. I mean, he does seem to be insane. This little tomboy. Victor kind of pokes fun at Nanami in a couple of different spots in the game. Alright, so Annabelle obviously recognizes Joey's name. Currently a fugitive from Highland, and charged with treason. Oh my, okay. Yeah, and here she knows the main character as well as Nanami as well. Which is kind of, actually the backstory and kind of like how she knows Genkaku and yeah, just kind of like the backstory around him is actually kind of neat. We'll actually find out quite a bit more here really soon. And here Annabelle, it's kind of interesting that she claims some responsibility for what happened to Genkaku, but yeah, again, kind of interesting. Maybe a little. It seems a little misplaced, and I'll kind of go into that a little bit later. But yeah, kind of. She knows what's going on, that's for sure, and she knows a bit about again the hero's backstory and you know, their relationship with Genkaku. So we'll see that here in a little bit. Anyways, all right. So the next thing that we need to do actually is Jess goes into this other room up here, and we're going to need to talk to him. And actually, inside that room, there is a one of the old books. I don't remember which one it is, but we'll have to go in there as well. And so the next... Oh, this is not the right room. I guess I decided to do a little exploring. This room we can't get into yet. We'll actually have to come back there later. And there's Jess in there. Alright, so let's head in. Okay. So it looks like Jess got a hold of some uniforms. They wanted to... Yeah, so here, yeah, he's explaining. They want to see how many, or like what they've got for provisions, to try to determine what their plan is. So, like, you know, the idea would be if they've got a lot of provisions, the army will be prepared to siege for a long time. Whereas if there's not a lot of provisions, then the assumption would be that the army would be, you know, attacking swiftly, and not counting on a prolonged siege. So, unfortunately, though, with the fact that they've got only the youth brigade uniforms, well, that means they need younger people that can kind of pass off as, I guess, children or youth. So, kind of interesting that they choose to. There's the book I was talking about. So grab that. That's at the, you know, it's that top bookshelf up there. But, so, obviously the hero and Joey decide to, volunteer. Jeez. Getting tired, so the old mind is not moving as quick as it used to. Or normally does. Alright, so this is Tuta, and we're actually able to recruit her now. And this is Dr. Han, something like that. So here we'll get Tuta, and then we actually will get Juan, I think automatically later, which is actually important that you grab. Juan has a recipe, and if you don't get it now, you can miss it later. So, and then there you have Tuta actually joining us. So let's go back inside here and speak with Juan one more time. And that will get us the recipe number 3. Okay. Alright, so again, you know, really important to grab that now. Let's see, what else can we do? Don't remember off the top of my head if we can recruit anyone else. I thought we could, though. So I do know that there is one character here that will be in the tavern eventually. Yeah, it looks like she's not here quite yet. We've got some more event stuff. So Anita is one of the characters that we'll be able to recruit soon-ish, and I actually really like her. She's got a really good rune. But anyways, alright, so obviously the main character as well as Joey wanting to, you know, kind of help out. Kind of regardless of the danger. Now alright, we're gonna do a little bit of a, I don't know, I guess sort of a raid on the Highland. I should say we're going to infiltrate the Highland base. Wow, did somebody have? I must have been seeing something wrong. I thought someone had like 16 health. Like that just seems. That doesn't seem right at all. Maybe I don't know. I know Tuda is extremely low level, so maybe her. But man, that just seems crazy low. Oh, there she is. Okay, so here's Anita. You can actually recruit Anita later on too, but I mean, being that we're here, there's no real reason not to get her. So what you actually want to do here is you want to keep talking to her, and just keep talking to her over and over, and then she'll ask you for a favor. And I think the first one I got was, actually, I'm guessing it's the same. It's always the same favor first, which is to, I think, fill her wine glass. So then you just go talk to Leona and then talk to her again. So let's. So actually, one thing I will mention: if you bring much later on in the game, you can actually you can still recruit her way later on. And there's actually another character that, if you recruit her first. There's, I guess, extra dialogue with Anita. Now, I've never actually done that, just because, again, she's available right now, and I actually really like her. She's got, like I said earlier, a really good rune, and so yeah, so I make sure to grab her right away. So now we've done one of the favors for her, and actually, I think what we want to do is just leave and completely exit Muse, and then come back in. I don't know if you can just leave the bar, but my impression was that you needed to leave the town completely and go out to the world map. So, so obviously that's what we're going to do. Now, her second request, I think, is for antitoxin, and I don't know if I had any left in my inventory or not. So, I may have. Unfortunately, not had any, and I'll have to kind of repeat this step. Yeah, there she's asking for it. Big nice spider. Yeah, I didn't have any, so I'll have to go to a. Yeah, we'll have to go to a to the item shop here. I'm not sure if the item shop here in Muse has antitoxin or not. I guess we're gonna find out. Hopefully it does, because it's gonna be really annoying to have to run somewhere else and then come back. Leggings. Womp womp. Throat drops. Probably don't ever need those. There's a lot of items in this game, especially these like recovery type items that I just never bother with. Look at all these octopus urns. Let's get rid of some of these. Just taking up extra room in the inventory. I have, because of there's a couple of bugs in this game, and unfortunately there's some antitoxin. Thank you. Like I said, there's a bunch of bugs in this game that revolve around some of the recipes and stuff. And so normally what I do is I just hang on to a lot of those stuff of that stuff until later on in the game. And unfortunately that just bloats our inventory. So it gets to be kind of a pain in the butt. But all right, so Because I didn't have antitoxin the first time that I triggered that conversation option with Anita, we have to, basically spam this again. And I wasn't sure now if I needed to exit or not, so I just felt like it made more sense to do that. And here I didn't go all the way out, so. Okay, back to the world map, and then back in. So let's try this again. Now that I've got the antitoxin in my inventory, I'll try to trigger that. There we go. Alright, so now, yeah, here, you just talk to her one more time, and then you can tell her to join your group. Wouldn't do it for anyone but you. Wow, okay. Makes me feel, pretty good. Okay. Alright, so probably from this point on, I'll actually use Anita quite a bit. Like I said, she's got a... So she has a rune where she'll either do 1 times damage to enemies, or she'll do 3 times, which is pretty amazing. But unfortunately, though, it does have a 10% miss rate, so... well, I think that... Or what is it? 10% reduced chance to hit, I should say. Something like that. I'll have to... Hopefully I can actually read what it says here in a bit. Just doing okay. Boy, I didn't even catch who I kicked out there. Oh, I think it was Fudge. Poor Fudge. Okay, yeah, probably a good idea to save. Why not? Anita is actually kind of one of those interesting characters too, where, so I mean, she can use a shield, so she actually does make a pretty good frontline fighter, but because of her rune, and there isn't much reason to use anything else in combat. You can actually stick her kind of in the back row if you really wanted to, and just use her rune from there. So, kind of an interesting little side or interesting thing about those the characters that have runes but are short ranged. Again, if you just plan on using the runes like I probably will, you can just stick them in the back row. Now, the only problem is if you like to use that auto battle command a lot, that's then she won't be able to attack. So oh yes, before we leave on this mission, I think it's a good idea to unequip Joey's runes, especially if you've got anything real valuable on him, because unfortunately he's going to be leaving pretty soon. Now, that being said, though, he does come back, actually, and this isn't, I don't believe it's technically your last option, or it's not your last chance to kind of remove his stuff, so don't stress too much if you are not able to, or if you don't want to get rid of it right now. Now, so I'm finally going to put the Spark rune on Nanami. Now, that ability, or that rune is kind of interesting. It actually reminds me a lot of Breath of Fire 3. So Breath of Fire 3 had what was called a chain formation, and basically what it did was you would set a person to be the leader of the chain, and then your other characters would act immediately after that character. And that's the way the Spark Rune works in this too. So basically what you want to do is put it on your fastest character, which in my case is Nanami, and basically it moves someone like Humphrey up to Nanami's speed. It basically matches her speed. It's pretty great. And it's more useful, I would say, for these random trash encounters when you're just going to, probably just going to auto-attack everything down. And it's less useful for boss fights. Just because, oftentimes it doesn't really matter as much when your characters act, or if they all act, before the boss, because, usually boss encounters are multiple turn affairs. But again, I'm sure there's still probably it is probably still useful for those boss battles. I just find it quite a bit more useful for these random encounters, because again, it's it's going to reduce actually a lot of your incoming damage, because if everybody is as fast as Nanami, well, oftentimes she's attacking first, so everybody's going to get their turn before, you know, enemies will. Whereas if you don't have that equipped, you know, Nanami will probably go first, maybe the main character, maybe even so a lot of these characters have insane speed though right now because I'm super leveled, but Humphrey, on the other hand, is still level 43 and slow as molasses. So, again, I really like it. It's actually the first game I've ever really used it. Most of my other playthroughs, I've actually, you know, just kept her with Fury Rune and Double Beat, but I just think it was actually a lot more useful. Normally, I like to try to, you know, just max out each individual character's damage, but I'll be honest, I just don't think that that was the best way to go. So I'm not sure here. I think we're heading back to the fort to pick up Templeton. That's my guess. So we'll see. Other than, or we might just be running around for all I know. Here's a couple more Shadow Dogs. I've mentioned this a couple of times, but they have the Hazy Rune, which increases your evasion. I'll be honest, I don't really like that rune. I don't find it good enough to use, I guess I should say. So we'll probably not worry about those too much. The Bonbons here, these are the guys that'll super rare, or they have a super rare drop called the Celadon Urn, and we'll actually need that to recruit a character later. I think I already maybe picked one up, maybe. It's a big maybe though. So this is these woodpeckers. Yeah, there's no reason to fight those. They don't have anything good. These ones anyway. The ones in it's Ryub Forest are the good ones. Yeah, so this is Radat, and we're actually not able to get through here. I don't know why I thought I could do that. There was a couple of occasions where I, you know, tried to get in there from this side, and you just can't. But anyways, all right. So let's head back up the path here and try to get to Victor's Fort. I did put Hannah in. I'll be honest. I was not impressed with Hannah at all. She's just a really bland character. She only has one rune spot, and I don't think she actually gets any more. Again, I could be wrong on that, but I mean, if that's the case, she's just horrible. But she didn't feel very strong either. I actually did take her up to I used the Muse glitch again to get up in there and you know, just try to gain some levels with her, and she just still felt really weak. But anyways, all right. So this is Templeton. So obviously you head into the to Victor's Fort. This is, as far as I know, the earliest that you can recruit him. That's kind of going to be my thing too. Is I trying to get a hold of all of the characters as early as I possibly can. You know, you don't necessarily have to recruit all these characters when I'm doing that, but again, I like to try to get everyone as early as possible, so we'll continue that going forward. So that's Templeton, and now I think we just need to head back up to Muse. I think, or at least I think that's going to be the plan. Oh no, we have to go up here too to still recruit Templeton, because he actually hasn't joined us quite yet. So you see him for the first time there at Victor's Fort, and then you actually do have to come up to Toto, and he'll be on the left side of the screen, and at that point he'll join you. Nope, down. Yeah, down here, and to the left. There he is. So Nanami at some point in the game mentions something about a cute map maker, telling her something. We'll find we'll see the dialogue eventually, but apparently Nanami thinks Templeton is cute. So fun fact. All right, so there's the Suiko map, and that's it's actually pretty useful actually. So when you're on the world map here, actually we're about to see that. Yeah, so here we've got a nice map now. All of the little red squares are like I don't know, useful spots, I guess. Mostly towns, you know. Sometimes it's caves or dungeons, but again, kind of useful. I like it. I'm gonna head over to Coronet, I think is the name of this town, and we should be able to sharpen some weapons if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, we'll head over to the left side here. I think this is the highest, this blacksmith can get our weapons as high as they can go for the time being. Oh yeah, I'm even taking the down rune off of Joey's weapon, which might as well. Again, he's not going to be with us forever, so. Let's see here. Oh, okay, I guess. Really, on Hannah? Ooh, I really don't know why I did that. I think that would have been, well, so I actually don't know if that would be useful at all on Anita now that I think about it, just because I don't know if her rune will it would ever activate that, and I don't actually think it does. So maybe that does make more sense to leave on Hannah, because she's just going to be using that attack command. And she actually is pretty weak. So yeah, so to be fair, that probably isn't a bad rune. So I mean, normally if you wanted to put like a like a fire rune or somebody on, those are useful for when you're doing a lot of damage. But when you're just not doing as much damage, I think that things like down runes probably make more sense. But anyways, I'm out of time. So as always, hope the guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.